Need some suspension work and shocks and brakes, brake pads, lining, steering box, transmission, rear end.
Ka-chow.
Just don't see no cars! It works! I love this button!
Always remember, if you ain't first, you're last.
106 miles to Chicago. We got a full tank of gas, half a pack of cigarettes. It's dark, and we're wearing sunglasses. Hit it.
All right, welcome back to the Unnamed Movie Car Podcast, recording at you live from Tokyo, Japan.
Maybe, or Britain, or something.
It's a lot of places, but to talk about cars too.
Yeah. All right.
So we're going to do the 10-minute pre-show.
Yep.
We don't share any spoilers.
Right, no spoilers.
If you're new to the show,
First
thank
10
you.
minutes.
Consider subscribing on whatever platform you're
Shout
on.
out to Paul Shin.
Shout out to Paul Shin. Wow,
We're just
quick
gonna
with
do
the
that,
Paul
right?
Shin
Yep.
shout out.
And to Craig. Wait.
Craig Lieberman.
Craig Lieberman.
Yeah,
I
shout out
almost
Craig
forgot.
Lieberman. Wow.
Oh, wow.
That's almost becoming like an outdated joke. Like it's kind of like a...
I know. Well, Paul Shin, though, he is one of our...
He's the fan.
He is because he does every single episode on YouTube, he actually will say something.
Yeah,
so
which is
it's
very
nice.
kind of him to listen to.
Appreciate
I was
it.
talking to my friend Nick today.
Yep.
I reviewed his diesel Silverado. And he's
cool.
a fan of the show. He listens at work and
Great.
stuff. So
Excellent.
he said
Excellent.
it's super easy to listen to, and he
Nice.
enjoys the banter between
Yeah,
us.
good. Like that.
So shout out to Nick and his
Yeah.
Mark IV Supra
That's
build.
Ooh, cool. That's cool.
But yeah, I have a couple things planned
All
for
right.
the pre-show.
Okay,
But
we
first of all, what you planned?
So let me introduce this a little bit. So in the last show,
Yeah,
no, was it our last show? That
I
we
believe
had?
it was our last show because this is our
Okay.
first non-Halloween
Yes.
show
So
for the
we-
last 5 weeks.
We did Halloween
Hope you
shows.
enjoyed going back to the original theme song, intro song.
Oh,
This
we're
is-
back to
We're
that?
back to the normal
Okay.
intro
All right,
song.
cool. All right, so that's really cool. So, but you had done something really cool, and you got me some candy
Yeah.
for Halloween, which I thought was awesome. Then you gave me, so one of them was a chunky bar. It was
Right.
awesome. I ate it. And I really, you asked, you had said, hey, I want to try it. And then I just ate the candy bar,
I'll
which
be
is
honest.
terrible.
I saw the rapper in the garbage last night, and I was like, "That's fair." I mean, that's fair.
No,
But
it
we
felt
had the
bad.
conversation maybe 2 hours before of like, "Oh, do you want to try it on the podcast?" Yeah, and then I saw the rapper in the
Yeah, I was
garbage.
like,
so
okay.
the
It
very
was
clear
delicious.
message sent there.
It was it was delicious. So,
But anyway, you went
I
out.
went out and I had to find. You know what? I couldn't find them. I tried looking all over the place. I looked at.
Did you go to the
different
candy
gas
store
stations.
downtown?
No, I didn't go to the.
I
candy
wanted
store.
to try that
Okay, so
one.
I didn't
'cause
go
they got a lot-
everywhere.
Okay, all right. Well.
Okay, so I went a couple places.
All right, you tried one spot.
I tried a couple gas stations and a grocery store.
Yeah.
The gas stations usually have them, especially the big ones. But anyway, so I got chunky bars for us to try. So that's what we're gonna do.
So
a little
this
ASMR
is-
right now.
Yeah. Well. There you go. Milk chocolate with peanuts and raisins.
Yeah.
Um,
I like it, obviously, because I
so-
had the other one. So yeah.
What's your history with? Have you just always liked it? Because I remember you just told me about them as when I was a kid, but I don't really know much about them.
Yeah, I think this is the only honest candy bar that tells you exactly what you'll look like if you actually eat it. So, but I'm pretty happy with that.
I got a little piece here, a little chunk.
I like honesty in
There we go.
my candy. All right. Yeah.
I'm gonna try not to chew into the mic.
Yeah. No, I know that's not easy to do. So, what do you think? Because you're chewing.
It's pretty good.
I know you out there can see that we are. Yeah, as we are. I think we should say. I don't know. We ended up in Great Britain. I think is where we are. So let's say we're. Great
Yeah, we're
Britain.
recording live from the Cars universe.
Live. Yeah, exactly. So I'm gonna have mine.
This is a terrible podcast already. Hold on, let me finish chewing,
All right, you
and then you can have yours.
That's
Okay.
all right. That sounds good. So I
Vamp.
keep going. Okay, so definitely. So let's talk a little bit about a movie without any spoilers. And I'm going to tell you first because I'm going to go first as far as did I like it or did I not like it. I just I hated it. No, I'm just kidding. No, totally kidding. Loved the movie.
Yeah.
More than I thought. I was really happily surprised. I thought I was not going to like this movie at all.
Yeah.
And because I had seen bits and pieces of it.
Sequels are rough.
Yeah, they are.
Sequels
they are very,
always
very
always
difficult.
rough. When it comes to
Yep.
Pretty much anything. Ghostbusters 2 wasn't as good.
No,
and this one,
wasn't.
I would agree, isn't as good as the first one. But
It's
the first
not-
one set the bar so high.
I have theories on that, but whatever.
I
We'll
really
talk about
think
them.
the first movie is in our Hall of Fame for sure.
Oh, there's no doubt about what.
Yeah, you just opened that wrapper so loud.
Sorry, you can probably hear
I
it.
think
from
it echoed.
your-
Um,
all the way back to the United
no,
States.
I think if we were gonna do like a Mount Rushmore of movies that we've done so far, I think Cars 2 is up there, or not Cars 2. Geez, Cars original is up there. I think Ford versus Ferrari is the George Washington. I don't know. I don't know what else.
Yeah,
Maybe Who Killed the Electric Car.
one of them. Yeah.
Maybe not even in our banter, but I'm just talking strictly movies that we've done.
Yeah.
The movies themselves, not our take on them.
Yeah.
If it was our take on them, I think the Rush episode that's a hot take episode that we did. I think the Chitty Chitty Bang Bang episode
that's another one. That,
was a hot take
Oh, you
episode
really-
because I
you
was
didn't like that.
I
Oh.
well
you hated that movie.
I didn't hate Chitty Chitty
You
Bang
hated
Bang.
it.
We shouldn't have watched it and then immediately started recording because we were like 4 hours into our endeavor.
That is true.
and I
that-
was tired.
that
I was
really a
done.
difficult-
I didn't
That was a
want
difficult one.
to even be
Yep.
associated. But a couple things
Yep.
Because we're still
Exactly.
waiting for that 10-minute mark.
Yep.
I have a couple.
All right. Did you like
pre-
your?
What's
did
up?
You, well, did you like your chunky bar?
Oh yeah, it was
Yeah,
pretty
okay.
good. It's a whole peanut, like
It
it's
is.
whole peanuts.
Like, yeah, an entire peanut.
it's chunky. It's definitely not
It
like a
is.
smooth chocolate.
No,
But that's okay.
And
I like it.
I love 'em.
wouldn't. It wouldn't be my go-to.
no.
But yeah.
But if they want to sponsor the show, it's okay.
If they want to sponsor the show, we would welcome that. So I have a few things for the pre-show
Right. Okay,
set up
great.
in this
Excellent.
in my little
Good.
envelope
Let's
here.
do this. All right.
First of all, since this is our Cars 2 episode, and at 6 minutes, I'll put this in,
All
I
right.
drew our Model A
Oh,
as a car in the car universe.
Wow.
So you're probably
Wow.
hearing the crinkling of paper.
Wow.
You
You
can
can all
that.
see this out there.
Yeah, at 6:20, I'll make a note in my phone to add it in post. At 6:20, I drew our
Wow.
Model A. So we have a 1931 Ford Model A, which I
Wow.
believe you actually took to go get the chunky bars today.
I did.
Did you not? Yeah.
I
Because
did.
I saw you were gone this
I
morning with
did.
the car.
I used the car to get the chunky bars today. So that was,
Um,
yeah.
So I drew it in the
Wow.
style of one of the Cars movies.
That is so good. Are you going to show this to the?
Yeah,
on
yeah,
YouTube?
yeah.
Okay.
It'll be up on screen
Yeah,
right now.
because-
So if you're watching on YouTube,
Yeah, you can
if
see
you're
it.
listening on Spotify or iTunes, thank you. But head on over to YouTube if
Yep.
you want to see my drawing.
Wow.
Of, maybe I'll chuck it in the thumbnail too. We'll see. I haven't made the
All right.
thumbnail for this movie yet.
Okay, because
Um,
this is really good. I'm so surprised. It looks just like a Cars animation
Yeah.
character.
So I drew this because I was drawing the thumbnail for the show.
Yeah.
And I noticed that with all of the cars,
Mm-hmm.
when they draw the eyebrows,
Yep.
they don't go straight across the windshield.
Right.
They always lower slightly.
Yes.
So I was like,
Yes.
oh, I could just add that to any windshield
Pretty
and
much.
then draw the
Pretty
eyes,
much.
and you pretty
Yep.
much. The mouth was hard, and the mouth is kind of floating out in the middle of nowhere. I didn't really
That's
know
all right.
where to put the mouth because the Model A bumper.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird. I'll have to look at how they did the Model T in the first movie, the Tin Lizzie.
Okay.
But yeah, so I had some fun with it. So that's
Awesome.
my drawing. The second thing
Mm-hmm.
is, I don't know, have you heard any Lamborghini news recently?
No.
So, Lamborghini announced a new car.
Okay.
It's the first. Now this is going to be very, very old news by the time this comes out.
Okay.
We're recording this, spoiler alert, in
All right.
August.
Yeah. All right. Yeah.
And they just unveiled that they are reusing a name for the first time ever.
I think you did mention this. to
They
be
brought
honest
back
with
the Countach.
you. Countach, which is
So I
My
have some
very
pictures
favorite.
here if you want to look
Oh,
at them.
really?
I
Of the
printed
new
out
one?
some pictures
the new
of
one.
the new one.
Okay.
Instead of just showing you
Wow.
on the phone. You could just Google this. I don't want to get a copyright strike.
right. Oh, wow.
But it looks pretty cool. It's going to be a
Yeah.
V12 as well as have a hybrid system on
Wasn't
it.
the Countach a V12? The
Yes.
first one?
Yeah.
So,
So it's still a V12. However, it's
Hybrid?
getting a hybrid system on it as well, which adds, I think, like 40 horsepower.
Did your printer print these out? These
yes.
are good.
Yeah, those are nice,
These
right?
actually came out well.
Yeah, it's my HP DeskJet 3000 series or something, or maybe 780.
It's literally the cheapest printer on the market, but
it's
it
like
does
$25.
Literally
It's
$25.
all the settings. I went on my computer and I hit paper fine. Oh,
Yeah.
photo glossy fine.
Yeah. Did you use the paper I gave you? I gave you some paper.
You did give me paper. That's not the paper.
All right.
That's different paper.
So
the new Countach is coming out.
Very cool.
I believe
Very
they're
cool.
only going to make like 500 of them. I think it's going to be a real limited
I'll get
run.
two. I'll get two. Two reserved for me.
What's your opinion on the Countach?
I mean, the one that the first one is just so classic.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like that is the one. I think that's a really slick design. I really like that. I think that's really cool. I would actually
journalists
like
are
one.
very torn on it.
Are they?
Very
Why?
divided.
What are they saying about it? That
I personally think it's cool.
Yeah.
I think it's a good looking car, and I love 80s and 90s stuff. Whatever.
and their rear rear wheel wheel well.
Rear wheel well.
Wheel well. I
Yeah.
can't say that.
Yeah.
Is very similar to the original.
Yeah, I mean, we have the
logo-
poster.
Right.
We bring it with us everywhere we go.
We do.
We have
Along
a
with the
giant
Ottoman.
Countach poster.
We have a
along with our
Countach poster.
Ottoman, yeah.
The Ottoman. So. But
A
very,
lot of
very
people
cool.
are saying because it's kind of a rebodied Aventador, which is their current car.
All
They
right, yeah.
basically just slapped a new body onto it.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are saying, oh, they're just cashing in on, just the namesake. It's not a true Countach. And I think
It is to me.
I think it looks great.
I do too. I think it's pretty cool.
And it's
really,
interesting that it's the first time that Lamborghini is going to sell a car with the same name as a different car. Because
okay.
every time they develop a new car, they give it a new name.
Yeah.
Like the Diablo basically turned into the Murcielago.
Oh. Okay.
Like as their top tier car. And then
Diablo,
the
that's
entry
the
level was the
fighting chicken.
Gallardo.
That's the fighting chicken, isn't it? Yeah.
Shout out to Talladega Nights.
Talladega Nights. Yeah. Yep.
And then the Gallardo was the entry level. So you had the
Okay.
Murcielago expensive, and then the Gallardo, which was cheaper, which is still $250,000, but
Wow.
the Gallardo was the cheaper one. The
Wow.
Gallardo then was replaced by the Huracan as
Mhm.
the entry level Lamborghini, and
Okay.
then the Murcielago was replaced by the Aventador as the expensive Lamborghini.
Oh.
And then, of course, there's tons of one-off cars that they've done, like the Sesto Elemento, where they made, I think, 5 of them or something like that. Real specific stuff like that. But they're actually bringing back a name for the first time ever.
That's very interesting. It's not like the Mustang, which
Right,
is like
yeah.
they've done it a billion
Where you
and
could,
one
it's
times.
like the 8th or 9th
Right.
generation
it's a-
Mustang, or the Honda Accord, I think, is on its 10th or 11th generation.
That's right.
Where
Plymouth
these names
Fury.
have been around.
Yeah.
Once Lamborghini kills a name, they kill the name.
Yeah. Well,
and
then
it doesn't carry on. So it'll be interesting
it'll
to see
be
if they
very
sell.
cool. I like it. I think it's really neat. So yeah.
A lot of people are also complaining that it doesn't get the giant rear wing.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I'm thinking they're going to do a special edition with the giant wing.
That would be
There's
cool.
no way they don't put a giant wing on the back.
Yeah, that is
because
true.
the original our Countach poster has the giant wing.
Oh yeah, definitely. That was always an iconic piece of it. Really giant, almost hilariously giant and comedic. Is the rear wing.
And people have petitioned for a front spoiler.
Oh really? Yeah?
Speaking of Countach, though,
Yeah.
recently the Countach from the Cannonball Run,
Yeah. That's
the black
red or black or
Countach,
whatever. Yeah.
was inducted to the National Historical Vehicle Registry.
What? Why? Just
I
because
don't-
it was in Cannonball Run?
Just because it was
Not
an
the
iconic
Bumgall Rally?
Bumgall Rally. It was an iconic vehicle.
Oh.
So thought that
All
was
right.
pretty
Well,
cool.
that's cool. I mean, you mean that specific car, or
Yeah,
was
that's
it
what the article said.
Okay.
In association with, I believe, Haggerty, there's a
okay.
National Historical
All right.
Vehicle Registry.
Cool. Yeah.
I think most of the '80s movies cars are on it. I believe the DeLorean's on it.
Oh,
I believe
nice,
the
nice. Very cool.
Trans Am's on it. We should do
Yep.
a whole episode about that or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, when I was doing a little
Very
bit of
cool.
research on the new Countach, I saw that it had been inducted to the National Historical Vehicle Registry, which is
That's
cool.
totally cool. Yeah. So we're at
Yeah, we're way
right at
past
time.
10
we're,
minutes.
We're good. So what'd you think? I mean, how'd you feel about it?
I watched this movie out in Utah.
Yeah.
With my girlfriend when we went out there.
Okay.
And I, like you, had very low hopes for this movie. Here's
Yeah, I
the thing.
know.
Let me set the scene for
All
you.
right.
Bella and I had been watching F1 Drive to Survive,
Mm-hmm.
which I seriously recommend you watch.
Yeah.
The issue with it is that it's a series, and I don't know if we can do series
Yeah.
for this podcast,
Right, but
because it's
you're talking about me as a person, your
Right.
dad. You want
it's
me to watch it
30-minute
with
episodes,
Yeah.
and there's 10 episodes.
you. Okay.
So instead of watching a movie to prepare,
Uh-huh.
I'm asking you to watch, was that 5 hours of
Yeah, that's a lot.
content?
Yeah.
Which is a lot to ask. But anyway, we were watching this Netflix show on our
Drive to
vacation
Survive, yeah.
out to Colorado. And every time, like, throughout most of the show, Bella kept saying, "Oh, this reminds me of Cars 2. This reminds me of Cars 2." Because she has a
Really?
little sibling. She had seen
Oh.
it many times. So she said, "You got to see Cars 2. You got to see it." Because there's kind of
Okay.
F1
All right.
style
Yeah,
racing.
yeah,
They
right.
go across the globe.
Right.
They do this and that. And actually, there's some F1 drivers who have cameos in this movie.
Really?
Yeah, Lewis Hamilton, who's like the big guy in F1 right now. He
Okay.
wins pretty much everything. Him and Max Verstappen. But anyway, he's actually in this movie. Lewis Hamilton.
Wow.
is.
Okay.
Yeah, which Lightning
Very
McQueen
cool.
calls out to him. He says, "Hey, Lewis," and it's
Oh,
like
no
one
kidding.
line.
Oh,
I'm sure it was
wow. Yeah.
recorded like on an iPhone in a tour bus or something. But as
yeah.
what I learned, a
Yeah.
lot of cameos
Yeah.
are literally just microphones and backpacks.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
I don't know. You probably don't know the rapper Lil Dicky.
Nope. Don't know.
He has a great show called Dave on Hulu.
Dave on Hulu is what it's called?
It's on Hulu,
Oh,
but it's
okay.
the show. Jesus. He
Okay.
did a song about saving the planet,
Okay.
and literally it's just all celebrities, and it's all like 1-2 second cameos
Ah.
as like different animals and stuff, and they all have like one line or whatever. And he said
Okay.
in order to make this music or to make this song possible, they were like literally like running around town like, "Hey, do you have 15 minutes?"
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
literally on people's couches. I think they had like a Zoom microphone. Or probably one of these
Well-
SMGs or whatever they
Oh,
are.
the SM58s. Yeah.
SM50. I think it was like a recorder
are-
like this
These
SM58
are
and
great
it was like
microphones.
they're
and it's a great
fantastic
heads,
and
yeah.
portable and
Yeah.
great. So they ended up making this song with like I think it's like 40 celebrities or something.
Wow.
And
That's cool, though.
it's really funny. They got Kevin Hart to play Kanye West. And literally the whole line is,
Really?
"And I'm Kanye West." That's literally the whole line.
Wow.
It's hilarious.
Okay.
But like Justin Bieber's in
I'll
it,
have to
Ariana
listen to
Grande, Maroon 5, all that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I assume that cameos in movies are probably similar where it's like, "Hey, do you have 3 minutes and we have a microphone?" Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's the great fun thing about audio, really,
Yeah.
is for the most part you can run and gun. You can
And it's the
actually
nice
go
thing
and do
about
things quickly.
animated movies. If
Oh
you
gosh, yeah.
Well, that's
Oh,
the,
yeah.
that's the thing I've learned listening to different podcasts and such is like you can kind of save a movie 3 times, or you could kind of create a movie 3 times: writing it,
Right.
shooting it,
Yes.
and editing it.
Yes.
If you mess up writing it, you could save it when you shoot it.
Mm-hmm.
And if you mess up while shooting it, you can save it in the edit.
Yeah.
And that's kind of it. But then when you
Right.
record, I forget. Oh, Nick Kroll was talking about this.
Yeah.
Because he did Sausage Party.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And Sausage Party is actually a very funny movie. I
It is.
really
It's-
enjoy
It is very funny. It is funny.
And he did the whole movie. He plays the douche in the
Ah,
movie.
I
He played
didn't
it the
know
whole
that,
time
yeah.
with an English accent. Like
Really? Yeah.
he said it's like a Jafar kind of Disney villain where he's like, "How dare you?" Like things like that.
I could hear him doing that. Yeah, I'm sure that once I watch it again, I'm sure that.
Yeah, and
it'll come back.
so he did the whole movie like that, but then on the last take,
Yeah.
or as the last day, he was like, "Let's try the lines as Nick Kroll had a character called Bobby Bottle Service,
Okay.
where he was like a New Jersey guy, and he'd like go around, bottle service kind of guy, like
Okay.
slicked hair and stuff.
Yeah.
He's like, let me just try some lines as like this like New Jersey douchebag style,
Right.
and that's what they used in the movie.
Really?
Yeah, if you watch the movie, because he's a literal douche in the
Right.
movie.
Yeah. Exactly.
And
Which
so he
is
plays it as this like Jersey Shore like Guido type
Yeah.
guy, when he had done the lines hundreds of times as a like Disney villain. which totally changed the movie. So
Okay,
he was on the Fighter and the Kid podcast.
That's very
He was
funny,
talking
yeah.
about that, and he's
Yeah.
like, because there's so many levels to animation.
Oh yeah.
There's so many rough edits.
Oh, yeah.
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 There's the ones you'll see on YouTube and stuff, like super rough cuts of animated movies where like the limbs don't move and like the lips don't move, and it's just
Yeah,
the audio
exactly, yeah.
thrown over this like
Oh, yeah.
loose. So there's just so many different layers where you can really change the story and toss things in. So
Oh yeah, I mean, there's an animated movie. To me, it's kind of unfathomable to do that much, to do an entire movie that's an animated movie. I can't even imagine. It's hard enough to do an actual real movie
Right,
with live
yeah.
actors and all that. A live movie is really pretty incredible, but an animated movie, yeah, pretty neat though. How because we've actually seen behind the scenes with Simpsons and things like that. We've actually seen some of the things and the booth and and how they do different things, but very, very interesting. On normally the people are recorded first, and so they have their audio first,
right.
and can mess with that. So very, very cool stuff. But this movie, you were going on about this, about setting the scene, about
Oh, right. So that was it. So we were watching this F1 show, and then she kept saying this reminds me of Cars 2. So we were in Moab, Utah, and at Arches National Park, and we decided to watch it. So we ended up watching it. And that's really it. That's
so
the
you
whole
watched
scene.
this on your vacation?
Yes.
On your trip?
We
Wow.
watched 2 seasons of F1 Drive to Survive.
You did?
On our vacation.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Well, what ended up happening is I would play it on my phone, and she would watch it. I listened to the first the last 2 seasons of F1 Drive to Survive.
Got it. I've done that before too. I've actually listened to shows.
Yeah,
like
while we would
entire
drive,
seasons.
she would sit there and watch it,
Listen,
and then I would pretty much listen to it.
Yeah.
Which we did throughout Rocky Mountain National Park and all these great places around Colorado. But
So your take on this after all that?
I was I was pleasantly surprised by the movie.
You were? Okay.
Because she said this one they turn into spies.
Right.
And I was
that's
like,
really it.
What?
Yeah. Right. It is the Fast and Furious.
I was going to say
franchise.
literally all the Fast and Furious PTSD came rushing back to me, and I was like, why does everything with cars turn into spies?
And it was I didn't really realize that when I was watching. So I had seen bits and pieces of this, and none of it made sense to me, and it didn't look as interesting as like the first movie.
Right, of course.
So that's what threw me off. And that's really where I was like, well, okay, I'll give it a shot and see.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed it. It was a very enjoyable, fun movie. Of course, I'm a James Bond fan, huge James Bond fan. And
Michael Caine's in this movie.
Yeah, so I was a little – that kind of caught me off guard. And, and I have to say, I wish that they would have used someone besides Michael Caine. Okay, I love Michael. I think Michael Caine is awesome as an actor.
Yeah,
and he's really cool and was great in all the movies I've seen. Italian Job, all these movies, great.
Austin Powers.
Austin Powers, of course. But right there, that's the reason why I'm not happy that he did this one, because every time I heard him talk, I pictured his character as Austin Powers' dad.
Oh,
and so it threw me off. It threw me into that world and not into the Cars world.
Yeah.
And I was expecting him to do some goofy, silly line like he would do from the Austin Powers movie.
Yeah.
And he didn't, and he wasn't going there. And so it was very weird because, yes, he was being a secret agent, exactly like he was being in an Austin Powers movie. So it just really threw me off. I wish they would have used someone with just anyone with a British accent or a Scottish accent.
Yeah.
A Sean Connery kind of accent would have been awesome.
Yeah.
But I was thrown off by that. I wasn't really happy with that choice. Whatever. I mean, it was still fun and enjoyable. Fun, definitely. Did you get the name of Holly Goodshift?
Oh yeah, Good Shift. Yeah.
And because of course all the names in James Bond movies for women tend to be sex puns.
Yeah.
They are really.
Or was it Shiftwell?
Shiftwell. I think it was Shiftwell.
Yeah.
I think it was Holly Shiftwell.
Yeah.
Which was was it Holly Shiftwell?
Yeah. I think it was Holly. Yeah.
Yeah, because in the Moonraker, James Bond Moonraker, there's a Holly Goodhead. That's her name.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So it was one of those things where, of course, I was like,
God, that
very
one's
funny.
like so blunt.
Oh yeah. Oh, that is probably the most blunt of all the James.
Besides Pussy Galore.
Pussy Galore.
I mean, come on, what are we doing here?
That's not even like you're not even trying to hide anything.
You know they cut the camera, and she looked at the director like, really?
That's my name.
That's
really?
my name.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, exactly.
Right,
yeah.
right. Okay.
Well, and then there's all these other things in there. That's a whole nother show. And maybe we should do the James Bond cars as one show.
Yeah, I think we should
It'd be
definitely.
fun because
100%.
we definitely and actually we could review the who did it? They did that
The Top Gear,
Top Gear,
James
thank you.
Bond car special.
Yes, we could actually do that one. But
But yeah, no, I like that they were spies.
Yeah,
I thought
that's
it
fine.
ended up working out.
it did
It
work.
ended up being fun. I liked
Yeah.
the twist at the ending.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
we can talk about it.
Right.
Well, we're 25 minutes
Yeah.
in.
So
we can
we're
well talk
spoiler alerts big time.
Spoiler alert. The car that
Yeah.
okay. So if you haven't seen the movie, which spoiler alert,
Yeah.
spoiler alert. Basically there's a car that develops this alternative fuel
Yep.
for
All in all.
racing, all in all.
Call it all in all.
And all the race cars start using it, which it's good for the cars, but if you point a certain laser at it or camera at it,
yeah, it's
it
a
blows up.
It's like a magnetic, super power magnet. Something
Right.
like
They
that.
don't really get into the
So right there.
specifics of it, but there's an evil mastermind behind it. But like he's like the poster child of it, and is he supposed to be a hybrid or he's supposed to be electric? Right.
He's supposed to be electric. I think
He's
all
supposed to be electric. But it ends up turning out that he's actually a combustion engine car,
Right.
posing as an electric car.
Right.
He leaks oil. He blames it on Mater. Mater gets embarrassed.
Yeah.
Which I thought was very interesting. I did not. I knew something was up with him. I didn't know that it would be that he was actually an internal combustion engine car.
Yeah. Right.
And it reminded me a lot. I think I told you about this of the movie Surrogates.
Yep.
With I can't remember his name now.
Bruce Willis.
Bruce Willis.
Yep.
Surrogates, a film about a world where everyone has literally a surrogate robot
Right.
that they sit at home and they control. And there's a rebellion for
Right.
real humans.
Yep.
And it ends up the rebellion leader was a surrogate himself. He was a
Right.
robot himself.
Yeah. So spoiler alert on that one.
Yeah,
too,
spoiler
'cause he
alert
just
on
totally
Surrogate from 2011 with
totally
Bruce Willis.
gave that one away, but yeah. So
Well, it's not the end of the plot point. It's just like a small minor thing.
yeah, and
But
in the Sixth Sense, also Bruce Willis is he's dead.
oh yeah, and
Want to spoil that one? Let's spoil all the movies for you. Anyway.
what's the one where he's a miner that gets sent to space?
Oh, that's Armageddon.
Yeah.
Right?
Armageddon, yeah.
So
yeah.
they blow up the
Such a
asteroid. So anyway,
dumb plot.
that one's really
Really, it would be easier to train miners to be astronauts than astronauts to
Right.
be miners.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
Anyway,
what
So
were
in
some
this
other
one-
good points of the movie for you?
So some other fun things were, it was fun to see how they weaved the entire. I mean, because it really was, Mater was turned into a secret agent,
Right.
and so it was fun to see how they did that, and how Mater's kind of bumbling into this kind of worked okay for him.
Right.
And so I found it interesting, though. For Mater, it had a very interesting character arc that was kind of he started out, Mater always was cool with himself. Like he just was himself. He didn't really care what other people thought about him. Mater started out as being this, hey, I'm cool with myself, and if you like me,
Yeah.
that's good. Then he started to learn in the middle of the movie, that people were making fun of him. That he was, that people didn't think that he was cool. People thought that he was, goofy or silly or laughing at him or whatever.
Right.
And then by the end, he comes back to the idea of being who he is and being himself. And it was kind of weird because not weird, but I mean it was interesting because it was this kind of a half 180-degree circle where it's kind of like, okay, I started out here, then some people made me wonder, and so I've got off track, and then okay, back on track. I'm back to being myself and all that good stuff. So that does happen in some movies, but it is an interesting arc. It wasn't and for Lightning McQueen, it wasn't very much about Lightning McQueen, this movie.
No.
And so there wasn't much of an arc for him except that he was kind of a jerk to Mater, and then he realizes he should be, nicer to Mater, and it's his good friend.
I think I liked Mater's story arc.
Yeah.
Because I think it's important because I feel like this one was more geared towards children.
Okay.
I think it's a very important thing I think a lot of kids go through that.
Yeah.
Especially like junior high.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Well, yeah, because
junior high is brutal.
Well, you come into junior high and you're kind of innocent, and you get your eyes get open to a lot of things.
Yep.
You start dressing differently.
Yep.
You try to be like the cool kids, whatever. And then towards, some kids end of junior high, some kids high school, some kids even college, you realize that doing your own thing has always been the best thing to do.
If you're lucky, though, I mean, a lot of people don't even get that until after college.
Some people don't get it at all.
Right.
Well,
no, really.
For real.
Yeah.
So I think it's an important message to get out there of like,
be yourself.
I mean, like, it's the rusty but trusty way of like, it's true.
Yep.
Just be yourself.
Yep. Absolutely. Yeah.
But I think, a lot of people do get off track and
oh yeah,
they
definitely.
try to fit in and they try to be something they're not. And it's perfectly normal. It's the normal part of human exploration.
It is. It is.
But once a lot of confidence comes from sticking to your guns.
Right. Yeah. I mean, in your life, you've always had that. You were lucky enough that you really always had that. Most people don't, though. Most people go through a really
yeah, I would say junior high though. Honestly, no. Junior high and high school, I tried to be someone that I wasn't.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
junior high. Well, yeah, junior. I just think back to in junior high, I went through a whole I wore snapbacks and listened to like EDM music, like Dead Mouse and dubstep, and I don't regret any of that stuff. I still like that music, but I definitely tried to dress more in that way, and that wasn't me. But the biggest thing that I've been reflecting on a lot recently was when I first got my driver's license.
Yeah,
and I went through a whole flannel phase. I would just wear flannel shirts. I would just listen to country music. It was country because I drove the white pickup truck. I tried to fit into something we're not. Where we live is not rural. We do not live in a rural place.
No.
And I dressed like I had just gotten off the farm.
Yeah, I mean,
going to school. And so I've mentioned this actually in a couple recent reviews. I did a Prius review, and I remember when I first got my license, I would say oh, the Prius is so gross. I'd spit in the direction of a Prius, whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And growing up, I realized that was I don't really actually care about the Prius. I wouldn't personally buy one because I think they're uninteresting, but I think they're perfect. They're perfect for mom.
Right.
Mom would be great to have a Prius.
Totally agree.
Like literally, I mean, the Prius is a perfect car for so many people.
Oh,
it just
gosh,
isn't for me, but it doesn't deserve me hating it.
Yeah.
And so I reflected a lot on that of when I first got my license and driving the truck and stuff. And, I tried to be this country kid when I had never even stepped foot on a farm until I was 19 when I worked on one. I worked at a farm for a couple months on a farm.
You did?
Yes. I swept out barns. Do you not remember? I swept barns for 3 months.
Who are you? I don't know.
I would drive it was where my RX-7 was stored.
Oh, yes.
I
swept
barns.
I do remember that. Yes.
And I picked up daily. I would pick up rat and mouse skeletons and sometimes raccoon skeletons.
Nice.
I would sweep them out. I would drive around, spray pesticides.
Yeah.
I did the whole riding lawnmower thing. I chopped trees.
Yeah.
I moved tile.
Wow.
I ended up working on a farm.
Yeah.
I think was I 19 or 20? I might have been 20. It was the fall. It was in the fall. I think I was 20.
Yeah.
But anyway, this was like way past my country phase. And so like even when I was working on a farm, I didn't wear flannels. I just wore a t-shirt and like, shorts and
No,
you know.
and that is, by the way, that whole lifestyle is totally cool. I mean, I think for people that live in the country.
Oh, 100%. It's not me.
But it's not you.
There was no reason for it. I was actively trying to be something I wasn't.
Yeah, but everybody has that. I wish I had a picture of it. I don't have a picture. I remember in high school, I went to the mall with my friends, and we all had parachute pants.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was a day when we all were trying to be cool and walking around with these parachute pants. And it's hilarious to my mind. And I have that picture in my head, and I'm like, wow, that was really dumb because we were just trying to be like some people we weren't. I was definitely not that type of person. So whatever, and that was fine. It took a long time to be okay with who I was,
I remember this was, God, it must have been 2015. Maybe, no, it might have been 2014, actually. Yeah, I think it was the end of 2014. There was me and two other kids from my high school. Yep. All three of us were named Zach. And I had the Dodge. One Zach had a Ford F-150, it was an OBS. And then the other Zach had a Chevy. So it was a Chevy Blazer.
Okay.
And I remember, so it was the three Zachs, and we all had the three different big auto manufacturers.
Right.
And this is how much we were trying to be country kids. Mm-hmm. So obviously we live in somewhere that's very suburban. I mean, to see a cornfield, it's a little bit of a drive.
Yeah.
And so where we live used to be a cornfield, but now with so much development and stuff.
When I was growing up, it was cornfield.
Right.
Yeah.
But there's a park, like a foresty park with a little gravel road and a turnaround at the end of it.
Yeah, I know.
I think you know which one I'm talking
I know exactly the one.
And on the side of the road, when it would rain,
Yeah.
there's a little bit of mud on the side.
Yeah.
We spent probably 3 hours driving through that mud over and over and over and over and over and over again.
Wow, you just blasted. Yeah.
I know. To try to get mud on our trucks to make it look to like make them look trucky. And we would show up to school on Monday with our trucks caked in mud.
Yeah.
Because that to us was like, you use your trucks for real. When it was three kids
driving through
on a
puddle.
gravel road surrounded by single family homes.
Yeah, right. Exactly, yeah.
I love the spot. I use it a lot for reviews.
Yeah, it's a great spot. It's a great spot.
My recent, my August Audi TT and Subaru Outback reviews were filmed on this area, if you're a fan of the Shooting Cars channel. But it was just like, we were not using our trucks for truck stuff. We were driving through a puddle. Going back, I always look at that area, and I'm like, that's literally a puddle.
Yeah, it was.
Literally a puddle. We would drive through it for like hours, trying to get enough mud on our trucks to make it look like we were these cool country boys.
Yeah.
And in all actuality, it was very depressing.
Yeah, but I mean, like you said, I mean, everybody goes through these, and so it was interesting that Mater went
see
through
that,
this, and to see that in this movie, and to see, see him as first of all, see him as a secret agent, which he wasn't,
right?
And then for him to have that realization that he wasn't cool, or he wasn't like people were laughing at him or whatever, or thought he was, laughable or silly or whatever. So, I mean, that part of it was interesting to me. Also, another thing, totally different in a Disney Pixar movie, you don't often see machine guns.
Yeah, no,
in a Disney Pixar movie. I mean,
there's. I don't want to say. There's violence.
There's violence.
I mean, there is violence.
Yeah.
Not violence where you should hide your kids.
Right.
I think.
But there's some
I don't
deaths,
even want
though.
to get into the whole culture of kids shouldn't see a gun.
I know. So, But
Yeah.
the first death comes at the oil rig. When a car goes over the side of the oil rig and hits the water and just completely flies apart. All the parts fly apart. That is definitely a dead car. You just
Think about that if this was an animated human movie.
Right.
All of their limbs just flew off.
Right. And
I mean, that's graphic.
that's
but they can
right.
get away with more because they're cars.
Absolutely, because it's a car. I totally get that. But again, I was shocked, and I was that registered in my head. It's like, oh my gosh, they just showed a car death, and that is something that you just don't see. You don't think of it that way. But when you have sentient cars, you're like, oh, wait a minute, that
They
thing
have
is
to die.
that thing. Well, and that thing is not coming back. That thing is all in pieces in the in the ocean. So
it makes me curious.
Yeah.
I would love, in a Kickstarter type way,
here we go.
to see a rated R Cars movie. Could
Wow.
you imagine where
How-
a
so
torture scene
Oh,
where they're like
geez.
pulling side mirrors off?
Oh.
It's like, no, please, I'll tell. Like whatever, and like pulling like turn signals out.
Right. Or like smashing their headlight in a vise or something
Yeah.
like that, and that would be pretty.
It'd be
it's
kind of
weird.
funny. It'd be kind of funny.
It's kind of. It would be weird though in a way because if
Did I just accidentally write Sausage Party? With Cars Sausage Party? That's literally, I just realized that's literally what happens in the movie. She starts like slicing and dicing the baby carrots and stuff.
Yeah.
All the food in that movie is sentient.
But it's true though that you don't. I mean, if you look at it as a car, and you're just looking at it as a vehicle, you would go, well, that's not a big deal. But if you're looking at it as a character that has feelings and it's a sentient character, then it becomes a huge deal.
Yeah.
So very, very interesting psychologically. It's still the same thing. It's still the same object. It's still a car.
It raises the Cars paradox I believe we brought up in the first Cars episode that we did. If there's Cars TSA, that means that there was probably a Cars 911.
Oh,
and
right.
the fact that there's
right.
a World War II Jeep means that World War II happened.
Right.
And that means, fill in the rest, XYZ.
Exactly right. So that that would be part of the Cars rated R version. Would be the wars and all these villains from the wars and stuff. And
because I think there's a movie Planes, which I think takes place in the same universe.
I think so. Yeah.
And there's one of the planes has like either war flashbacks or like something.
Wow.
Like it was like an old war plane. It's like.
Well, and here's the thing too: is that this movie was the first time really that they had a lot of things like boats that were sentient. They had airplanes that were sentient, and so you started to go, okay, how much of this world is sentient? Like, is it just vehicles?
Now there's theories that it's cars have always been around.
Yeah.
But there's also theories that there's been like a global extinction and the nuclear fallout has caused cars to become sentient.
Okay.
Now,
all right, I guess
you can get on Reddit. You can go down some rabbit holes for sure.
Well, I mean, so, and it raises the question of, okay, if anything mechanical is sentient, or is it just vehicles? So
is there a blender that can talk? Is there,
Yes.
Why aren't the gas pumps at Flo's V8 Cafe sentient?
Right, because they're mechanical. I mean,
are they not mechanical enough?
Right. I don't know where that line is drawn in this universe, but very interesting. Yeah, I mean, in the rated R version, you could also have them swearing as well.
Yeah.
So there would be
McQueen, you mother. Yeah.
Beep.
Yeah.
You son of a... Yeah, I mean, you could do. Yeah, it could be very violent. You could do.
I want to see it. Have you ever heard of Corridor Digital?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I have.
They do rated R cuts of stuff sometimes.
Well,
they'll
I'd like to see 'em
re-edit
do.
a scene
I'd like to
and add way more blood and limbs and.
That is true. I think I've seen them do Marvel.
Yes, they did Captain America, where he's throwing his shield and it's actually decapitating people.
Right. Yeah.
Which, by the way, have you seen the Winter Soldier? The Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
No. Is it good? Have you seen it?
I liked it.
Okay.
I definitely liked it.
I
Bella
like
and I
Marvel
watched
movies,
it.
so
The show is pretty good. It's very interesting.
Yeah.
But there is a pretty gruesome part where a guy gets decapitated.
Okay.
and you see on Captain America's shield, it's like covered in blood.
Oh wow! Really?
Because spoiler alert for that show.
Wow. Okay,
Gee,
we're
I'm just getting
spoiling
all
them
the
all
spoilers.
over there. We're spoiling everything.
That
hope
show
now.
This is all the first episode, but Falcon, who receives the shield from Captain America at the end of Endgame.
Yeah. I'm not sure why. Why did he give him?
It's
Okay,
whatever.
Never mind. Okay.
He gives
gets
the shield to the Smithsonian.
Oh. He. Okay. All right.
The
So,
Smithsonian then takes the shield and gives it to another guy, and they're like, "This is the new Captain America." They didn't tell Falcon that they were going to do that.
Oh man.
So then there's just this random dude who looks like a dweeb.
Really? Yeah.
He's the new Captain America.
Wow.
And he thinks
I would
he's
be
all
ticked
that.
off.
Yeah.
I
So
would
that's
be ticked
basically
off.
the whole series. Is
So wait. So it's the Falcon and the Snowman, or what
the
is
Falcon
this?
and the Snowman, yes. No,
What
Falcon and Winter Soldier. It's on Disney Plus.
But is the Winter Soldier the guy that's the dweeb?
No. The Winter Soldier, that's from the older Captain
Right.
America movies.
Yeah, that's why I was okay.
Yeah,
never
no,
mind.
he's not the new guy.
He's not the
No,
dweeb.
Bucky,
He's not-
no.
No, Bucky. Oh,
Anyway,
that's right,
not to ruin every series for you.
Well, okay, thank you.
What did I
because,
watch
yeah.
recently? Oh, Ferris Bueller. The Ferrari goes through the window.
Wow. Okay, just everything. If we name a movie, we're
Air
gonna
Force
spoil
One.
it. No,
Harrison
stop it.
Ford.
Jeez.
It says, "Get off
All
my
right,
plane."
Slow
I'm
down.
trying to think. What else have I seen recently?
Ah,
Shoot, I haven't really watched too much
there's
recently.
Not been a lot,
I'm
but
kind of dry.
anyway. But yeah, so so for me, it was fun again to watch. These different things and to see the things that were not usually in a movie where there was more explosions, there was more bullets and guns.
Yeah,
and
very un-Pixar. You don't.
no
Wall-E wasn't dodging, assault fire.
machine guns. Yeah, well, and a Gatling gun
Yeah.
because
Now a Gatling gun that's
Yeah.
not mechanical enough to have sentience,
I guess not, but
or is this like an angry gun that's like?
right.
Yeah, you
well,
know.
I
Pixar
guess
is interesting in drawing their lines. Maybe it has to have an engine.
maybe it's maybe it's got to be some sort of vehicle. Maybe it has to be
Right.
something that transports. So,
Okay.
anyway, yeah. So that was interesting to me. Again, I wasn't really terribly happy with the whole Michael Caine as the the James Bond type character, the secret agent. It was fun. The way that they did a lot of that stuff, I found it fascinating to me. I found it fascinating that how they did things without arms, like all of the different
Yeah,
things
they have
that
to
do.
re-engineer so much.
Yes, everything has to be like re-engineered or automatic or whatever. And it's funny because they even allude to that when they say everything's voice activated. They say,
yeah.
"Oh yeah, every day, all the time now,
Yeah.
everything's voice activated," and so they make that.
Kind
know,
of what do you want to call it?
I don't
A
know.
scapegoat.
Yeah,
Yeah.
kind of a scapegoat mechanism. They
Yeah.
make that the mechanism to say, okay, well, of course, everything's voice operated or voice activated. So, I mean it was kind of I don't know. It was very interesting to me how they did that and how they made it, because at the end of the movie, of course, there's a bomb and it has to be deactivated
Right.
by a voice. So, very interesting how that goes. But like, how
How would you wire something with no hands?
Exactly right.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. Is all of those things are left out,
Yeah.
and so you're like, well, how does this?
Well,
world
so
work?
that plays into the theory that there was a nuclear fallout, that
Yeah.
humans did exist
Yeah.
and now they don't, is
Right.
because there are still a lot of things that seemingly require fingers.
Yes. Well, I mean, there's so much stuff,
Yeah.
obviously, and if you go, then you go, I'm thinking way too much about this. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just a movie about cars and stuff.
Yeah, I'm spending. I should like go see my kids or something. I'm spending way too much time on this.
Right, exactly.
They haven't
So, yeah.
eaten in 3 days
Yeah,
because I
whatever,
can't figure
yeah.
out how the
Yeah,
gas
please.
pumps work or how you would pull a trigger on a gun.
Right, exactly.
Um,
With no fingers. Or
Something
hands or
I
whatever.
did like,
Yep.
I really enjoyed in this movie is the retention of attention to detail
Yes.
and car puns
Yep.
and things like that.
Yep.
Bella was very impressed at the fact of their like secret code word in the movie was about Carmen Gia's
Oh, yes,
What was
air
it?
cooled.
Yeah.
It
was like
the Carmen Ghia does not have a radiator. It's
Yeah.
because it's air cooled.
Right.
And it
So
That
a
was their
Volkswagen
phrase.
Carmen Ghia, along with the Beetle, along with
Yep.
the Type 2 bus, along with the Thing, it's an air-cooled car. It doesn't
Right.
have a radiator. She was
Yeah.
very impressed that I knew that they didn't have radiators.
Yep.
So I thought that was a really cool car thing.
Yeah.
And it was funny because Mater just knows that because he's a tow truck.
Right. And he goes on and on about how many
He's
different
like,
cars.
well, first there was the Top 2 bus.
Yeah, right, exactly, which is
Uh,
hilarious to me because I think about that and I think about that's exactly what you would say if someone
Oh,
said that
100%.
to you.
Yeah.
You know, you'd be like, yeah, but there's like the Type 2 bus and that started blah, 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 and
Yeah.
all this stuff. Yeah,
I loved that.
Yeah. It was
There
cool.
is in Japan, there's a quick panning. They like look at a lobby. There's
Yeah.
a giant rotor from a rotary engine in
Is
the middle.
there?
It's the giant centerpiece
oh,
of the
no,
building.
I didn't see that.
Everyone
That's
always
cool.
posted on the RX-7 forums and
Oh,
stuff like
that's
that.
cool. That is so
Um,
funny.
What else?
Yeah,
Oh,
that's great.
the bad guys, the lemons.
The lemons.
So
of
they call
course.
themselves the lemons, which is a real term
Oh,
for
yeah.
a car
Yeah.
that has way more issues than it
Yeah.
needs to be. There's actual lemon laws here
Right.
in the U.S.
Yeah.
where I don't know the terms of the law, but basically if you get a car from the factory and it has so many issues,
Right.
you can basically return it.
Yes.
And so a lemon is, let's say I buy, this actually probably isn't too far off. Let's say I buy a brand new Jeep Grand Cherokee and the
Okay.
screen keeps breaking.
Yeah.
And I have, it starts burning oil within the first year of ownership.
Yeah.
Things like that. That's considered a lemon.
Right.
So the bad guys in the movie are called lemons.
Lemons. Yeah.
And to push it further,
Yep.
the cars that they modeled them after are actual lemons.
True. Absolutely. Yes.
Which was really
Which is
cool.
very
One of
cool.
them was a Yugo,
Yep.
which I love
Yeah.
Yugos.
Do you? Yeah.
Well, I drove one, and they hold a special place in my heart now
I'm sure.
because I drove one.
I would love to
And-
have one. I just think it would be fun to have a Yugo.
Yeah, I've been in good talks with my friend Sean, who owns the Yugo up in
Oh,
Michigan.
really? Huh?
If they ever come up for sale, I told him to send me them.
All right. Good.
It's
Yeah.
rare that they come up for sale.
Really. Yeah.
Very
Yeah.
rare. I mean, they were all. Here's the thing: we could do a whole episode on is cash for clunkers or
Yep.
cash for cars or whatever.
Yes.
Was basically a government program in the early 2000s. It
Okay.
wiped out 90% of those cars.
It did.
It- Cash for cars, or I think it's cash for clunkers,
okay.
right?
Well, there was a cash for cars. I know that, but I don't know if that's the same thing you're talking
That
about.
was
yeah.
put in place by the government to get old cars off the road.
Really.
That's also not a conspiracy. That's like literally that was their plan, is to get these old gas guzzling cars off the road and to get you into a newer efficient car.
Cue the X-Files music.
No, it's seriously not even like
It's not a conspiracy.
No,
All right.
it was literally. So that's the thing, is that so many good cars. I was talking to a friend today, Nick,
Yep.
and
Mhm.
he told me this really fascinating story. I wish I could dive deeper into it. He grew up, and across the street, the guy had a Turbo 2 10th anniversary RX-7.
Yeah.
So the one that I just filmed, white with the white wheels, the special
Oh,
white
cool.
wheels,
Yeah.
black
very,
interior.
Very, very cool car.
1,500 were made. 1,500 were made.
That's
That's it. Guy lost the key to it and sold
Yeah.
it to Cash for Clunkers. So what they end up doing, I always wonder, like the donate your car and stuff.
Yeah.
They crush the cars.
They do.
They recycle them.
I didn't know that.
It doesn't like go to a needy family or
Yeah.
anything like that.
Which, by the way, there are. If you ever want to do that, there are things to look out for. That some people do that. They actually
Right,
have,
there are organizations to
Organizations.
give used cars
yes,
to needy
to
families.
needy families. Yes,
They fix them up, and,
which is a
and-
great
yeah.
thing. Yes. So, and I've seen that actually even locally. So,
Right,
yeah,
but
very
anyway,
cool, very cool.
So Cash for Clunkers took a
Yeah.
lot of cars off the road. So anyway, getting back to it,
He
the
goes, yeah,
Yugo.
The Yugo is
I
being
mean,
a lemon. Yeah.
no one cared about the Yugo. The Yugo
Yeah.
was never a cool car.
Right.
Now the Yugo is only cool because it was so uncool.
Right.
If that makes
Yes,
sense. And so there's
absolutely.
none left.
Yeah.
I was lucky enough to drive one.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen another one.
I've never seen one on the road. I've never seen one. Ever.
Yeah. So
I mean, it's- yeah.
and this one had dealer optioned AC in it.
Yeah.
And
They even had Saturday Night Live actually did a skit called the Adobe. Do you remember the Adobe?
no.
And it was the first car that was made completely out of clay.
Oh wow.
It was hilarious because they were making fun of the Yugo.
Yeah.
And they were saying, hey, it's Adobe. And then there was like a woman planting plants in the back of the car because it's like a pottery, it's like a piece of pottery. And it's hilarious because it's all like soft clay.
Yeah.
And you see people in white clothes getting out of the car and they're covered with clay.
I'll have to look
It's
up
very
SNL
funny.
Adobe
Very-
car.
Very, very funny. And it was, but a play on the whole Yugo thing. So, yes,
There's like some AMC's.
Pacer, right? Wasn't
The
there a
AMC
Pacer?
Pacer,
there's a
which
Pacer
was
in there.
notoriously
Pinto
pretty.
probably.
Yes, I believe there was a Pinto.
I believe
There's a
there's a Pinto.
Zundap too, which was a
Really?
European company. The doctor, the bad guy with
I
the
was gonna
monocle,
say,
he's a Zundap.
Is that it? Okay? I didn't know what car that was.
Which
That's
actually I've
interesting.
never seen in person. I don't believe they were sold here. They sold
Okay.
mopeds here.
Oh, gotcha.
There's actually
Okay.
a Zundap
Yeah.
Bella, which
Oh,
at
no
the
kidding.
Volo Auto Museum they
Yeah.
have one.
All right.
So that's the only picture I
Cool.
have of that.
Very cool. Yeah. So I mean, that was interesting. You're right. How they made the lemons into the
Right.
bad guys, and
They actually used. That's the attention to detail that I appreciated.
Yep.
Was that they actually used cars that were notoriously lemon cars
Yep.
in real life,
right.
to
Right.
then be
Yep.
the lemons in the movie. And I also like the fact that it ended up helping the plot.
Right.
Because Mater is like, oh,
Yep.
a lemon needs like a constant supply of new parts.
Yes.
Oh, okay, this guy's getting
Right.
a constant supply of new parts. He
Yes.
must be a lemon. All right, let's
Right.
look at this engine bay. Let's look at this. Let's look
Yeah.
at that. That attention to detail, I think, was really appreciated, and I always love what Pixar brings to the table with that stuff.
Yeah, and it's always fun too when like the character like Mater, who actually is a lot smarter than people would give him credit for,
Right.
knows a lot about cars, knows a lot about things that, I mean, and that holds true for human beings, where you say, oh, that guy's just he's just a custodian or a janitor. I mean, he doesn't. What does he know? And it's amazing what people know. It's amazing if you talk to people, the depth of knowledge that they have. And, some people have less and some people have more or whatever. But it was fun to have, like, Mater say, oh, well, yeah, I know this, this, and this. And that helped, the secret agents to figure out all this stuff. And, yeah, I mean, that was a lot of fun. Another thing I did want to say before I forget about this is one of the great things I really, really loved about the movie, and I think it's really, if you didn't call it out, you wouldn't probably realize it. But the last day when they were in London, England, London, whatever,
I think it was London.
it was overcast, and you rarely see that in a cartoon movie. You rarely see that in any animation movie.
Yeah,
where
I guess that's
actually,
a good point.
if you look at it, it feels different. The colors are different. The feeling is different. The sky is gray. Notice that the sky is gray and overcast. No one does that in an animated movie. I mean, very rarely. It's extremely rare.
Which, as we talked about with the first Cars movie, which I should have alluded to earlier, if you haven't listened to that episode, please go listen to our first Cars episode.
Yep.
They had to
Shout out to us.
shout out to us. We don't do that enough. Shout out to us.
Yeah.
They had to basically develop a new software
Yeah.
in order to render the reflections in the cars
Oh,
to
right.
make them
Yes.
look gloss.
Yes.
So now
Yeah.
you're taking something super glossy,
Yeah.
super, well, not super, but pretty predictable in the light.
Yeah.
And now you're making it overcast.
Yeah.
You have to add a different sort
Yeah.
of. They're not going to be as reflective.
Right.
Everything changes for overcast.
And
It would have
yeah.
been so much easier if they made London sunny,
right.
but they didn't.
And they didn't. And that was, to me, a detail. You talked about detail and attention to detail. A detail which, by the way, London, England is not known for sunny skies. I mean,
Right.
it's usually overcast and all that. So the whole idea was that changed the mood.
right.
And there was this ominous kind of feel to it. It wasn't blue sky happy. It was like, oh, some gray sky. And, it was a different feeling. And I love the fact that they were able to do that with animation and a 3D animation. I was just like, wow, that to me just blew my mind that they were able to do that.
No, super, super cool.
Yeah. Very, very neat. Yeah.
And yeah,
very neat trick.
Pixar movies have just always been so good at
Uh-huh.
attention to detail.
Absolutely. I mean, it's so much fun to watch for the Easter eggs too in the Pixar movies. I don't
like,
know many
like
of them
the
in
Pizza
here, but
Planet truck.
yeah, the Pizza
Fingers
Planet.
crossed. I have a mutual friend who bought a replica of the Pizza Planet truck.
No,
And I should be reviewing it some point soon, if not already
you mean
have reviewed
like
it.
the same model?
Yeah.
Or the make and model. Of the
I'll
truck?
show you pictures
Okay,
afterwards.
yeah,
I mean, obviously the Pizza Planet truck is a fake truck,
right.
but it's a Toyota Tacoma. It's
Is it?
pretty
Okay.
much known that it's a
Okay.
Toyota Tacoma.
Yeah.
Because the tailgate, I think it says Toyo or something. Like
Oh,
in the movies,
yeah,
it says
right.
like it's something like that. So
Yeah.
he actually bought it off of someone who built it, but it's yellow and it's been distressed to look like the
Oh,
Pizza
really?
Planet truck. It has the Pizza Planet
no
labels on the side, and
So
it has the beacon on top. It's
that is so
it's
cool.
picture for picture. Hopefully, I mean, I don't want to jinx anything, but
Yeah.
it'll be the first replica
Yeah.
movie vehicle
Wow.
that I would review.
That would be cool.
Which
That
is
would be
super
so cool.
super cool.
I
And
love when people do like that. Do you have a friend though that did one of the Cars characters? He drives it at his race.
oh yeah
that-
yeah.
and
Chick Hicks.
Chick Hicks.
Yeah,
yes, exactly.
Yeah,
I
Austin,
think, which I
he's
think is
awesome.
awesome.
Yeah.
That's so cool. Yeah.
All that stuff. Yeah, so he actually has a dirt track Monte Carlo.
Yeah, right.
That
Monte
is
Carlo, that's-
86,
Yeah.
written on the side, and it has the eyeballs on his window banner, and
Yeah.
it has all of the correct stickers to be Chick Hicks. Funny enough, his dad, who has been around in our town for a very long time and knows some of our family, he has the Volkswagen Carmen Ghia that I reviewed.
No.
Yeah,
Wow. Very cool.
that
Very
orange
cool.
Carmen Ghia I
Yeah.
filmed last summer. Beautiful car.
That's
really,
cool.
really
I
cool
love
car.
Carmen Ghias, by the way. They're cool.
And the odometer read 56,000 miles.
Yeah.
And that's 256,000.
Oh,
because
is it really?
It's only a 5-digit.
Wow. Yeah.
And he's rolled it twice.
Wow.
So
Has
and
he had it that long?
Yeah, he bought it almost new, I believe.
Yeah. Very cool.
Yeah, really, really cool. So.
So what are some other things about this movie that you liked? Because we're
getting up there in time for sure.
So
it's not as memorable as the first one.
True. Yes. Right.
I think a lot of the plot is kind of lost on me.
Yeah.
I understand the big key points.
Yeah.
I remember the lemons and figuring out the engine bay picture and the intel and Mater getting hurt by Lightning McQueen, but
right.
I don't really. It felt a little. It did feel a little weird to me. This movie, in the way of like Sally. Sally was in the movie. His Lightning McQueen's girlfriend.
Yeah, right.
But it felt very shoehorned in.
Yeah.
There was no Doc Hudson because the voice actor actually passed away.
Yes.
Which I thought was the right move.
Yeah.
I thought the right move that I think they pretty much allude to the fact that Doc passed away.
They do, but they don't say how or why or when or anything like that. They just say he would have liked to have known that they made the Piston Cup after him.
However,
Doc Hudson,
they did recast a different character.
Did they?
Fillmore, the bus.
Oh,
Originally played by George Carlin back in 2005.
Yes.
They recast Fillmore, which, granted, to be fair, doesn't have a lot of lines.
Right, but who played him? Do you know?
I don't know the new actor's
name. It would have been great if it was Cheech. It would have it would Cheech.
I always thought it was. I always thought it was
too.
Cheech or Chong. I mixed them up.
Who's the one that is? There's one of them. Cheech Marin. No, you're right. Cheech Marin isn't he the? I don't know. This is gonna be bad. Isn't he the one that's the lowrider? He's one of.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, it might have been Cheech. Anyway.
Ramon.
Ramon.
Yeah.
That I think is Cheech, right?
Again, I mixed those up.
Maybe Chong is. It would have been. But one of the other ones was he sounded just like George Carlin doing his hippie. So that would have been a perfect.
Yeah.
If they could have gotten.
So that was to me that I was like when I read that they didn't recast Doc because of course the actor died.
Right.
I mean the actor was big in the 50s. I mean he was old
that's
when
Paul
they did.
Newman.
Yeah,
Paul Newman was like the king as far as
50s, 60s, stuff like that.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Butch Cassidy, Sundance Kid.
Yeah.
I mean, The Sting. I mean, I mean, this guy was nuts,
Yeah.
crazy, popular, and a race car driver, by the way.
Right. Yeah. Who
Yeah,
actually
which is-
raced a lot of Nissans. A lot of
Did he?
Nissans.
Yeah. Very
'cause
cool. Very cool
I think
guy.
we talked about it when we talked about the first one, maybe.
Yeah.
Adam Carolla, the
Oh, right,
podcaster
yes,
stuff,
exactly,
he collects
yes.
Paul Newman specific
Right.
Nissans.
Exactly. Yes.
So a lot of Z
Yeah.
cars, stuff like that. But so then I was like, oh, they didn't recast it. That's good, because I really hate recastings.
Yeah.
I think it's just better to sort of leave that for beloved characters, background
Right.
characters, whatever. Recast them all day, but
Yeah.
you know, get a different person to film every scene. But main beloved characters like Doc, I was like, good, they didn't leave that. I guess Fillmore doesn't really bother me as much, but
Yeah.
I used to like George Carlin, so I thought
yeah,
he was pretty funny.
Definitely, yeah.
So I don't know. I was a little torn on that, but
Yeah, I mean, it was fun it was fun to see all the characters again, but there wasn't. I mean, it so much was not their movie. Like you said, it felt shoehorned in.
yeah,
You know, that it was like, okay, it was cool that in the end the characters kind of banded together. Like the army sarge got his, European army
Yeah,
friends,
yeah,
and they
yeah,
got together
yeah.
and they helped at the end, and they all. I love when, people band together.
Right.
I just as a thing in life, in movies,
Yeah.
I love to see when people band together, and then it's kind of a surprise, and it's like, oh, everybody chips in. It's almost like the end of the It's a Wonderful Life, where all of George Bailey's friends. Another spoiler alert.
yeah.
all
Sorry,
of-
jeez, I'm spoiling everything today.
All of George Bailey's friends come in at the very end and help him out, and that's what I love about movies,
Yeah.
because it really shows the best of human nature.
Yeah,
And so
it
that's-
gives you
that's-
sort of
it's
a superego view
Yeah.
of the world.
Yeah, which I'm in a very positive one of, yes, we can work together and we can
Right.
we can help out each other. So, very, very cool part of that. So, for me though, I just think that I just
What?
lost my complete train
Yeah,
of thought
I
there.
just lost. I just heard you lose your thought. Like,
You can actually hear that.
Yeah,
If
I
you play
literally-
that back.
yeah,
Play it back
if
as
we
this-
can enhance the audio, you'll hear a whoosh as your thoughts just leave your head. I know you're trying to vamp because I was trying to get my notes out, and then I
Well-
think you got lost in your own vamp. You got like
I
stuck
did.
in a loop.
You know what? That's exactly what happened. I was like going, okay, I see that you're looking at something.
I was trying to pull out my phone so I can get the trivia up, and I heard you losing steam, and I was like, please open Google Drive.
Enhance. We were laughing about that today in the movies.
Oh, yeah.
Whenever they say enhance,
Yeah.
and then they show a closer picture of something.
Yeah. So I do have some trivia, not a whole lot.
okay,
I
all
didn't
right,
do a
good.
whole lot of research for this movie because it's Cars 2.
So you're taking after me now.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this is pulled from, but in no way sponsored by IMDb.
Yep.
Finn Mcmissile was originally conceived for an unused scene in the original Cars movie,
Oh.
where
wow.
Lightning McQueen and Sally were seeing a spy movie in a drive-in movie featuring
Oh.
Mcmissile while on a date. So he was
I
originally
see.
going to be
Okay.
literally a James Bond ripoff
Right.
for a movie scene,
Right.
and then
Okay.
they ended up making a whole another movie off of this.
Literally an entire whole movie. Yeah.
Yeah, I would love to see that original scene.
Yeah,
and
that would
see-
be cool.
I
yeah.
wonder if they just got a random guy to. I doubt they got Michael Caine to
I
do a
don't think they got
2-second
Michael Caine, yeah.
bit.
Well, if they're not Marvel getting Vin Diesel to do Groot.
Oh
but, you know,
yeah, which the fact that he made like $3 million off of
yeah,
that,
that's
and well, to be fair though, he's the only Marvel character that
Yeah.
does all of his lines for all of the language releases. So if you go see the Avengers in China
Yeah.
or see it in France,
all he's saying
and
is
it's
I am
dubbed,
Groot.
I know, but he says it in every language.
Oh,
to
he
be fair,
does?
yeah.
Oh,
So they actually, because
okay. All right,
some interview they were asking him if they remember. And so like literally in the Spanish version, he's like "Yo soy Groot."
Feels like
Like literally, that's it. So he
Feels like
learned,
Groot.
how to say it in Chinese and French, and obviously English was his hardest battle. Besides applying baby oil every 30 minutes to his head.
Right. Yeah.
So franchise trademark. This one says. The
Okay.
Pizza Planet truck appears twice.
What?
As a guest on the Tire Talk television show and as a spectator near the end of the movie while Mater was flying on the jetpacks. You could see the Pizza Planet truck.
On
The
the
fact
Tire-
I
okay.
love the
All right.
Pizza Planet truck because not only is it in Toy Story,
Yeah.
it's in Bug's Life, it's in Monsters
Is it in
Inc.
Bug's Life?
Yes.
Huh. Okay. All right.
It's like above ground. It's been, I believe
Ah.
it's in every single Pixar movie. It's in WALL-E.
It's in Wall-E?
Yes, I swear to
That's
God.
Crazy. Okay, all right.
It's
so-
in one of the trash piles, and it has its hood up, and it's
I
in Finding
see.
Nemo when he rolls out of the dentist. Spoiler: when they
okay.
roll out of the dentist's office and back into the sea, it's
Yeah.
one of the passing cars.
Okay,
it's
there's a
literally you have to pause the movie in order to see it.
Okay.
Do you know what the movie Brave is?
Yes, I do.
It's
yes.
in Brave.
How can it be in Brave? That was set like
There's a, I believe, a toy maker, like a wood whittler,
Oh.
and one of the
Okay.
whittled little statues is a Pizza Planet truck. So much
Wow.
so that Hot Wheels
Yeah.
actually makes a die-cast version of the Pizza Planet truck made out of wood.
No.
I don't know if it's actually made out of
Wow,
wood.
so
I
it
think
looks
it's
like
the
it's made out of
metal.
wood?
Yeah,
Wow.
but it's
Wow.
super hard to find in stores right now.
Alright.
That's my recent hunt.
Okay.
I really want to get a Pizza Planet truck now that I might have the opportunity to review
yeah.
one.
That's
but-
such a cool thing.
Yeah, I'm sure online there's a compilation of where the
Okay.
Pizza Planet truck shows up.
All right.
I mean, in terms of number of films, I don't know
Yeah.
if there's a car that's been in more of them.
Supervan. Not quite,
God.
but not. That's an actual true
Yeah.
vehicle, but no, probably not. That's you know.
Next up, we have Professor Z is a Zundap. Zundap Janus. Janus? A German
Janus?
microcar
Janus?
made by the Zundap Motorcycle Company from 1957 to 1958. The name Janus
Giannis.
came from the Roman god based on the unusual design of having doors at the front and rear. Passengers in the rear faced backwards. It had a
Oh.
250cc engine with an optimistic top speed of around 50 miles per hour.
Wow. Okay.
It handled very badly due to its unusual weight configuration.
I'm sure.
So basically, if you know what a BMW Isetta is,
Yes. Yeah.
it's basically two of those duct taped together backwards.
Gotcha.
So you either
Okay.
got in at the back or you got in at the front.
Wow. Weird.
Very, very weird. And Zundap was
Yeah.
a motorcycle manufacturer that happened to make cars.
As I believe, Janus was the two-headed god. It was a dog. It was like a two-headed dog.
Oh,
Yes. So I
what?
believe that's it. I'm not. Wow. Really?
That was
I
a
give you that
second gear.
response?
Wow.
I think that is because actually that was part of a James Bond movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Where
Interesting.
the Janus was the bad guy because he had two faces. Basically, he was like a two-faced
Yeah.
person. So anyway, that's the only reason why I would
Huh.
do that.
That's good. That's
Anything
cool.
I know is just because of James Bond
Yeah.
movies.
Well-
my
That's your entire knowledge base.
my entire knowledge base is just James Bond movies.
Oh my god.
Which is pretty pathetic. So
Next
no,
up,
just kidding.
Finn McMissile's license plate
Yeah.
is 314 FNMC, which includes Sir Michael Caine's birthday, March 14th.
Oh. Oh, okay, yeah.
So Michael Caine actually shares a birthday with
Yes.
your wife.
My
and my
wife,
mother.
Yeah. Those two people.
Yeah, those two people, both of them.
Both of them.
I
But
remember
no,
in
that's very
junior
interesting.
high, we used to say, your mom's daughter's your mom,
Your mom's daughter's your mom.
which is factual, but I don't know why we would say that so
Yeah,
much.
it's- yeah.
That was like one of those junior high like verbal tick
Right.
things that
That's
just went around the school,
Okay.
you know?
Okay, that's
You remember
different
those where it was just
Oh,
like there was
yeah,
just
yeah, yeah.
sayings and you would just
Yeah.
say it.
Yeah, exactly. For no reason. But yeah.
Last one here. The Queen is a classic 1950s Rolls-Royce Phantom 4, and Prince William is a Bentley Continental GT. I loved when they did the Queen and the Prince.
Yeah.
Because they were like Bentleys.
Yes.
And I love the
And-
fact that to show age,
yeah.
younger people are newer cars. That
Right.
I think that was like
Yeah.
a 2009 Bentley Continental
Okay, yeah,
GT.
Yeah.
Oh,
And they were in Big Bentley instead of Big Ben.
Big Bentley was
Big
great.
Ben.
Just
Yeah.
the puns.
The puns. You were
the
saying
writing
that
room must be so fun.
Yeah.
For these movies.
Yep.
And speaking of these movies, another reason I wanted to watch Cars 2
Yeah.
is because I heard Cars 3 is good again.
Okay. Well,
Or
and if
it's sort of a U-shaped where Cars 1 is great.
Yep.
Cars 2 is pretty good.
Yep.
I've heard that Cars 3 was pretty great.
Okay, and eventually we're gonna get there. I mean, as far as
Yeah,
doing
we'll
that,
get there
but yeah,
eventually. I remember there was a tweet recently.
Yeah.
The poster of Cars 3 is literally Lightning McQueen crashing
Yes.
and just the number 3.
Okay.
And these movies are so popular and famous, you didn't even have to say coming soon. Not you just that's Cars.
Yeah.
You know
Yeah.
what's
Yeah.
So
In fact, there was a tweet you commented on
drop my
about.
chocolate into the.
Oh,
So
oh,
fun.
great.
Still gonna eat it.
You commented on someone had tweeted the car poster
Yeah.
for 3, and it was like this poster's trying really hard or something like that. Or
Oh,
it was
this
like,
poster goes so hard.
It goes
just
so
goes
hard, yeah.
hard.
yeah, it
It's
just-
like
it does,
so
yeah.
cold and sick and awesome. But
So very, very cool. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to watching the third one.
Yeah.
And we'll have to do it before our subscription runs out.
oh yeah.
But anyway, I mean, anything else though? I mean, if this movie came on,
Yeah, would you change the channel?
would you change that?
I'd leave it up. I don't think I'd drop what I was doing, but
Yeah.
I don't think I'd change the channel. I think I'd sit down, and I don't think I would sit down and watch, but I would definitely
Yeah.
leave it on and watch a little bit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, okay.
Yeah, I
You
would not change the channel. No.
I would not change the channel for sure. I would leave it on. I would probably sit down depending on what scenes it's on. I probably
Yeah.
wouldn't watch the whole movie, just like you. Yeah, it is one of those movies that is, it's enjoyable. If I was flipping through the channels and I saw it, I'd be like, oh, let's see what let's see what
Yeah,
it's at. It's fun enough that I would do that, as opposed to some other stuff that's out there. But yeah, I would watch it. And it's not like my very favorite movie of all time. It's not like one that I would necessarily go out and just
Yeah,
What
I
we'd
don't.
be looking for,
I
so.
definitely don't think it goes on our Mount Rushmore of
right.
of
No, it's-
films,
yeah.
but it was enjoyable. It was good. I'm glad I watched it. I didn't feel
Yeah.
like I wasted my time,
No.
and yeah, I'm excited for what it will bring us. Hopefully in Cars 3.
Yeah, and that will be definitely something that we want to do, for sure. And I don't know if you want me to give you the next movie.
Yeah,
by the
we're
way.
ready to go. We'll end the episode here. So,
Okay.
what's the next movie?
Okay, so the next movie is something that this may be a total clunker. This may
Yeah.
be terrible. I have no idea. I've never seen this movie.
Okay.
But I saw it as I was skimming through. I think it was either Amazon Prime or Netflix, and
Oh,
it's
God.
called Lady Driver.
Oh, okay.
Have you heard of that? So Lady Driver is this. It's about a woman who's a driver, and she's in really a man's world of race car drivers. So it sounded like it could be something
Is
interesting.
it Dirt Track?
I don't know. It might be. Why?
I think I saw that on Amazon. I
Oh,
think
really?
I read that. Yeah.
Okay.
Where I think it's like dirt track racing.
It might be because the scene that I watched, they had like a little, a little trailer for it, and basically this guy was giving her a hard time because she
Yes.
was just this, pretty girl.
Yeah, it's
at
dirt
the
track
racetrack.
racing. Yeah.
And so I thought that might be interesting for us to watch.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
No, let's
give
do
that a
it.
shot.
Yeah,
So
sounds good.
Lady Driver, because we don't really. I mean, we do a lot of like movies where males are driving cars. I mean,
Yeah,
that's
it'll
really-
be very interesting
Yeah,
to
to
see if this is a good adaptation or
Right.
if this is a
Or-
group of white guys in a room
Right.
writing what they think a girl would say.
Exactly.
And it'll probably be
Exactly.
terrible, not because of the
And-
females in it, but because
Right.
of the dumb guys
Exa-
that wrote
yes,
it.
exactly right. Exactly right. Or feeling that they have to write something
Right,
like
yeah.
this. Feeling they're forced to write. So, yes, and I will be. I really want to hear what if there's any female listeners to this podcast,
Yeah,
I want to hear what they have to say about this.
100%.
So if you want to watch the movie with us, it is Lady Driver.
Yeah.
And we'll give that a shot.
Yeah. I hope you guys are enjoying the podcast. Please let us know in the comments if you are. We're wow, we're pushing right through November, so we're gonna
Yeah.
have something. We'll have a special movie
Yes.
for Christmas coming up here, and we also do have a
Yes.
Thanksgiving special coming out.
Yes, we do.
So
Yeah.
on Thanksgiving morning, if you're tired of your family, please tune in. We will have a Thanksgiving special from our family to yours.
Yes,
so
it'll be
please
fun.
enjoy that.
Absolutely.
I hope you guys enjoyed the episode, and we'll catch you next time.
All right, sounds good. Bye-bye.